Good morning.
Good morning.
And this is a special edition of our highlight show that we do every month. And I have Marge with me to help in this discussion. And we are going to interview our new town administrator, James Duggan. And very glad that he was willing to give us some time this morning. He's so busy. And we appreciate you coming and
my pleasure.
Wanting to talk to us. So I'll introduce you as you want to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, I'd love that. Thank you very much for having me. I'm quite fond of the COA and everything that you do. But I have born and grew up in Lowell, Mass, so I am familiar with Littleton, and it's something that I went to college at Westfield State. And went on during my career, at the early part of my career in public management. I went to get my master's degree in public administration from Suffolk University in Boston. Over the course of years, I have, as I have ascended in my career path, I went to a few different communities. I was in the city of Lowell for 10 years. I moved on to the city of Methuen, city of Gloucester, then here, the town of Dracut, and I was fortunate enough that to get a taste of state government, and worked in in Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor Polito's cabinet for about 3 years, through 4 years, which was exciting. It was really exciting, and but I really missed the local level government. I missed you roll up your sleeves, you get something done. It's there's not as much bureaucratic issues. If there's an issue, you work hard to get it done, and it's done. It doesn't have to go through a number of different committees and different layers and legislature and things of that nature. It's more hands-on. You're able to make the impact. But I'll tell you what got me involved in public management. When I came out of college, I wasn't planning on public management. Even though I was a political science major, I was really looking to get into the federal law enforcement environment and look at that. And I will tell you what changed my mind. And as I was going through the hiring process with a few different government federal agencies, law enforcement agencies, I'll tell you what changed my mind. There was a big project that was in the city of Lowell, in which there were so many dilapidated and torn down buildings that that you had wonderful, hard-working families living on either side, and in between there was a triple-decker that was just vacant, drug haven, just terrible activity. And so we were able to identify probably about 60 of those properties in the city of Lowell, and slowly we took them out of the community. And what really impacted me, it was the quality of life issue that I was there one of those times that one of those houses were demolished. And you had the families on either side, hardworking families, that you could just see the relief because they could finally sleep because they were afraid of the house getting on fire, or the drugs that were going on, or the crime, and the impact to those people's lives. And later on, it became for the first time, their children had a yard to play in. And it was something that the city worked hard to recognize and give dense areas some little green space. And the impact was amazing. It really was. So that's what changed my mind. And I worked with the city manager at the time, Richard Johnson, and he encouraged me to pursue it. And that's what I did. So,
well, we're glad you did.
Well, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Welcome to Littleton.
Thank you, and I love being here. I love being here.
You haven't been here too long.
No.
But what do you think of Littleton?
I love Littleton. See, I am familiar with Littleton. So being in Lowell, even though it was a little bit outside,
It's only short
Yeah, it's
distance.
just
it
10
really
miles.
isn't. I mean, it's stone's throw, as they say, right?
Right.
Also, with my wife has a business in the neighboring community, and so I am familiar. Being my wife with her business, visiting her, and her having some of her clients here in Littleton. So we're very familiar with it. I love it. I'm so impressed by the level of volunteers and the level of passion and commitment to this community. And I've seen I've seen commitment by other communities, but I haven't seen it to this level. It's extremely impressive. It really is. And before I made the decision to come to Littleton, I was looking at other communities and that were expressing interest, and clearly the passion and the commitment was really telling for me here.
I think if you're a Littleton citizen and you've been here for a long time,
Yep.
you appreciate your town and you want your town to do good
Yep.
and to prosper. And I think we showed that in working for our senior center, that we worked hard for 28 years.
Sure. Yep.
But we certainly, we knocked it off finally, and we're on the road to
We're close.
to good things. But what do you see is the major issue right now in Littleton?
Well, there's a couple things. I think paramount is affordable housing.
Yes.
So many people that to your point,
Right.
that love this community and they want to stay here, and they've grown up here and they want to maintain that. So many people can't afford it.
Right.
And and I know it is a strong passion with the Healy and Driscoll administration. It was a very, very strong commitment, from the Baker Polito and also the Deval Patrick administration. So it is recognized. It is absolutely recognized that there are some very, very that's paramount. Affordable housing is absolutely paramount for us for every community to address. Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing is jobs. There has got to be jobs created. And people, unfortunately, some people's, I'm not saying that this happened here, but some people they'll not really identify a job unless it is a higher paying job. I mean, they don't look at retail, a smaller retail or fast food or anything like that as worthy enough. But I will tell you that, a job is dignity. It allows an opportunity for a person to go and help provide for their family and contribute to their family and put a roof over their head and food on the table and clothes on the children's back and to help getting to everyday living. And even if it's a part-time job or something, but it still brings people pride, and it's very, very important. Yeah. And that's real important for me also. And I would like to. So we're working hard on those two fronts.
Great.
So do you see us okay at the state level with the problem that we've had at the train station and losing what we are calling our funding or our grant money because of that project being knocked down, and we only had till December 31st to come up with something different? Where do you see that in the next 6 months?
Well, I will say there was a conference this past Friday and Saturday. It was called the Massachusetts Municipal Association Project, that conference, and that goes on every year. And I think this was the 45th year that they had it. But the keynote speakers at the beginning of the conference is always the governor and the lieutenant governor. So there was a strong passion for to continue with affordable housing. In regards to that topic you talked about with the train station, there's approximately 170 commuter rail
Right.
communities in the Commonwealth.
Right.
And I was talking to a secretariat level individual on Friday about the situation here in Littleton, and she made it perfectly clear that it's the law. You have to do it, and if you have to absolutely.
Even though the town people don't want to do it.
Well,
that's the problem.
It is, but
Yeah.
it's unfortunately we can't even ask for waivers. We can't ask for an exception, anything like that.
It's the law.
It is
Basically.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
And if it's unfortunately, if it's not done to your point, they would absolutely look more aggressively at any request that any town that does not conform.
Right.
And I believe, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think we're the only community that hasn't conformed yet. I could be wrong, but I think we have until the end of this calendar year to conform.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we'll have I think we're going to move forward with going into the next town meeting in May, and to bring it forward. And I think what's important for people to understand is, and that we will absolutely do a much better job doing outreach effort. And I will work with the planning board. I will work with the select board especially, and take my direction from the select board. And they have made it perfectly clear to me that the affordable housing and resolving that issue that is before us now is important. And we are scheduled, the select board is going to have a retreat with the assistant town administrator and myself on Friday. And we're going to sit down and identify goals for the town, goals of myself and the administration, and select board goals, and bring those forward.
You know, as you're talking, it made me think of another issue that I think that is pertinent in everything.
Yep.
Because lack of communication.
Yes.
And you mentioned that, and it's so
Yes.
hard to get without a local newspaper or anything. It
Right.
is so hard to get the word out. And I know the select board in the past have talked about perhaps, ways we can counteract it. And
Right.
we've tried to, I know the town website, people try to utilize that.
Right.
But there's still a huge void. And I don't know what the answer is to that either.
Right.
But I'm raising that because it affects seniors. I mean, we have our broadcaster,
Yep.
thankfully.
Yep.
And that gets out to a certain population, but
Yep.
it's not to the entire town. Occasionally, we send it out town-wide,
Right.
but it's costly to do
Right.
that. So I don't know the answer, but that's a huge issue plaguing all departments in town.
Right.
So I
And-
think people didn't understand the significance of
Exactly.
cutting our nose off despite ourselves,
Exactly.
It's so ridiculous. But anyway, it happened.
No, but I mean, to your point, and that was one of the things that Selectwoman Morrison, Karen, she said it to me during one-on-one interviews, and she was very
Huge
vocal
issue.
about that. Communication. How we need different platforms to get the word out
Right.
there, because we don't do a good job at it.
No.
And so we're going to start. I'm going to start a podcast, and I'm going to work with LCTV to do a podcast, and I.
Educate seniors for that. Do you know what a podcast is?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Good,
See, I'm-
because you
I'm
guys can
ignorant.
teach me.
No, no,
I've never done a podcast.
I have to be taught too.
Yeah, no,
So,
it's cool.
It's cool?
The only thing, and I guess because we're older, like my husband, he's not going to read the news on the computer.
Yep.
He wants his paper in his hand.
Yep.
And he wants to read it. And
Yep.
and that's the way he wants it. And there are a lot of people our ages that
Yep.
feel that way.
Yep.
And there's also a lot of seniors who don't have computers and don't want them.
You're right.
So as long as the podcast can be picked up on regular TV
Yep.
rather than just on the computer, that would work, because people could watch it, just like they can watch my show
Yep.
on TV. That's the idea, so that
Yep.
everybody gets that opportunity.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's great, and I've been talking with Mark here at LCTV.
Great.
He loved the idea. He was very receptive, and he understands the need, the demand
does.
out there.
Oh,
So
yeah, yep.
so clearly,
He does.
if it's a matter of putting it up, having me sit there and talk at a podcast and having guests in, and I would have Liz, for example. I would
Yeah.
I would have Liz in here, and we would talk about certain things, and then we would highlight. We'd continuously highlight and update on different projects: the Shaker School project, the sewer project,
Senior Center Project.
the senior center project. I'm saving the best for last. And it's something that, and I think it's important that it's not just said once and I'll talk to you in a couple months. I mean, I think it's on the agenda. It needs to be, even if there's no update, other than we're continuing down the bidding process or the construction process will continue, still
There
continue
has to be that little bit of an update that says, so that everybody watching knows it hasn't gone into a shelf.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I have another question before we let you go. What do you think about our budget and the fact that we're $3 million behind on our budget? And I know it's budget season.
Yep.
And I know some people are going before selectmen tonight with their budgets. So where do you fall on that? How do you feel about that?
Well, we're not the only town, struggling, with some financial challenges. But I will tell you, as I came in so far into the budget
You
process,
did, yes.
Ryan has done a fantastic
Yeah,
job.
he's phenomenal
He's
with that.
really done a great job working with all the department heads, the finance committee, and the finance committee is very good. They understand the environment. They get it. It's nice to see, and but it's going to we will get through it without a doubt, and we will be able to we'll persevere on the other end. But it was a very thorough budget process. It's still, as it still is ongoing. It's still thorough process. So, but very impressed by finance, select board, and Ryan and what they did.
And that goes back to, I think, saying what you started out by talking about how this town is quite amazing in a way.
It is.
And when you think about it, when I think back, I've been here since 1965.
Okay.
So, you go back and think back to the good old days.
Yeah.
They weren't
What
really
we
the good
didn't
old
have.
days then. Yes.
Yeah.
But
What we didn't
so,
have.
yes, we're very fortunate, though, that we do have
Right.
a lot of great, talented people that volunteer their time
Yeah.
to serve the community.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't think most members of residents of Littleton realize that. So,
Right. I mean, that is probably a big challenge in here in Littleton, but it's not only here in Littleton to get those volunteers, that because it's in many cases it's thankless. It's a thankless job to do that, to take time out of away from your family and do things like that. But it is so important to everybody. It's amazing that even that the efforts that people put forward in the different boards and commissions is just together it makes a huge impact, and it's something that I'm nervous that there aren't a lot of people stepping back up, like a lot of the younger people are not stepping forward, and that's a concern that many of my peers have in their communities also.
I think one of the things that, I don't know how to phrase it, we've been very fortunate that the employees that we have step up, go over it and above
Yep.
every day,
Right.
what they should do.
Right.
They don't always get the reward for doing that,
Right.
or somebody doesn't say thank you.
Right.
It's expected of them because they've done it for so long and
Right.
they care so much.
Right.
Having worked for the town for 35 years, I know that you work and you do and you get it done no matter how many hours it takes. But you know what's really important is if they see your face walking into their office. Thanks for what you do.
Absolutely.
And I know that we've had a couple administrators when I was there that they would do that. They'd swing in just to say hello or crack a joke.
Yeah.
And it was like, somebody's watching. It's not like we're just trudging through every day.
Yep.
And it's a big deal for the employees. And that's why they want to continue to do what they're doing,
Yeah.
is because they know upstairs or out there sees it.
Yep.
it's a bigger team.
It is.
He has to manage a bigger team and be
Yeah.
the leader of a bigger team.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
that's just like Elder and Human Services in the COA team.
Sure.
But it's
Yeah.
a much larger team that you have to work with, and
Right.
yeah.
And
But
it's
I'm sure you're going to do a great job.
well, thank you, and I appreciate
sure
that.
he
And
is,
I- but you're only as strong as the leader's only as strong as the team is.
Well,
And-
that's true.
And I try and thank my all of our employees, in the morning, I try and throw my head in and good morning, everybody, and have a great day and things of that nature.
And I love the idea that you have your Monday morning meetings,
Right.
because I think that's important, because then everybody knows what's going on for the
Right.
week.
See, no, I didn't even know that was happening until this morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
you didn't?
No.
No, yeah.
See, so it's good we
he
get the
started
word
that
out.
right away.
Well, see,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
We need
So-
to get the word out to
And that's-
everybody that's listening.
And that's another way of communication.
Exactly.
And
It is.
I think the department heads and employees appreciate that, because they know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's all it is what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Are we
And-
working for a good purpose? Is what it is.
And it's, but I see the quality and I see the passion in all of them, and
Mm-hmm.
it really, really is, it's fun coming to work.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
have hard workers like that are
Yeah.
committed and not watching the clock and then running right out the door, and
Right.
everyone here is doing more with less, and
Yeah.
it's impressive with a smile on their face.
Right.
Everyone's got a smile on their face. So the morning of a select board meeting, I'll have a department head meeting. We'll go through that tonight's agenda, as we did this morning, and we'll just share what's
And
on the
I think our
agenda.
director is on the agenda, isn't it,
She
tonight,
is?
to do our budget?
Our budget
Yes.
Yeah,
is
the Elder and
tonight.
Human Services budget, I think.
Exactly.
So, and I know, I think it's in my appointment book, I try always to be present just to be a support.
Sure.
Yeah.
to be
Sure.
there, so.
And I think for a while, the employees had lost that cohesiveness,
Okay.
And they were struggling. But I think it's coming back now.
I hope so.
When I talk to the employees, they seem happy.
Good.
And I've been on the personnel board since 2007, so
Good.
it's
Okay.
been. But I know you have a very important
Well,
job, which
Well-
is to manage this town and take care of everybody, so we don't want to keep you.
I'm always available for you. Always
that's-
available
that's
for the
great.
COA.
Well, we really appreciate the fact that you took the time out of your day today
Absolutely.
to come and talk to us, and I'm sure that everybody listening is glad to meet you.
And I have an open door policy, and please, anyone just want to drop by and come and just say hello, introduce yourself. If there's something that you want to express an opinion or have a question about something or an ask, if there's something we can do, let's talk about it. And if we can do it, we'll
Trust me,
we'll
there
try
are
and do
some
it.
people in this town that will do that.
I hope
There are
so.
some.
That's okay.
And
But
that
that's
is
a good
okay.
thing.
But that is true.
Yeah, it's a
And
That's a
good
good
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
That's a
it
good
is
thing.
It's a good thing.
And there are
Absolutely.
people that are, other people who are a little hesitant, but
Oh,
you're a person just like we all are. so-
exactly.
Right.
Well,
And-
100%. You'll see me around town, and now that I've got my business cards, I'm going to be walking into businesses, introducing myself, and
Great.
saying hello, and
Mm-hmm.
it's what I like to do, and giving back to the local merchants and making that investment. But I want people to understand that even the local mom and pop shop, they've got a voice. They can come to me at any time. And it's got
Wow.
my cell phone on there, my card, and everything like that.
We appreciate your willingness to spend the time to help get, we try very hard to get the word out to seniors and to
Of course.
anybody that will
Right.
pay attention to what, because we learned
Yeah.
that people don't understand. They don't understand what the COA board does. They
Right.
don't understand what the Friends of the COA do. They
Right.
don't understand what
Right.
Elder and what the connection is between the COA and Elder and Human Services. And
Yep.
so we keep trying to help them understand all of this.
That's great.
So, and it is a little confusing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
Yep.
ever hesitate to ask questions. That's-
Exactly.
that's
Right.
Yep.
That's
And
the
if there's
advice.
anything that you ever need that you think that we can help
right.
you with, or if you have a project that you need hands and people,
Right.
we're there.
Super.
We're always there to volunteer and help.
I know you are. Thank you.
So
That's comforting. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.